Hey, I'm about to do a video for my Impetuous Chef segment, and I need a theme song. So I need a theme song. Ooh, I need a theme song. Ooh, yeah. This one is going to be the simplest yet. So what I have, uh, chicken drumsticks that I have rolled in a spicy mayonnaise. You can get spicy mayonnaise from, and it doesn't really matter the blend. But there should be a little bit of a spice to it. Now you can do an Asian yum yum sauce instead, and that's going to be a little bit sweeter and will lack some of the spice. But if you have that yum yum sauce, you can just add some cayenne pepper to taste, and that'll kind of spice it up a little bit too. Or a little horseradish to it wouldn't hurt. Either of those things would give it some spice. Jalapeno peppers or something like that. If you want to add that. Now you don't have to use a spicy mayonnaise. You can use a regular mayonnaise, and you can then add the spices or flavors to your mayonnaise that you want. Okay. This has got to marinate. Well, not marinate. It's going to simmer. I actually took it just one ingredient: spicy mayonnaise. Um, and so how I worked with this was I just realized somewhere down the road I got the idea because I grew up with a lot of cooking shows. Hang on, let me take you to the other room. Okay, so here we are. And so I realized that after watching a bunch of cooking shows as I was growing up, we did a lot of PBS, and even in the 70s and 80s, we didn't have the expanded cable, and certainly internet was not prevalent in the homes and everything. So we had a limited amount of content that we could watch, and a lot of that was the cooking shows, the usual, anything that they could get a hold of, uh, cooking shows, and um, somewhere down the line, I learned that mayonnaise is egg that is, whipped up together and drizzled with very slowly with oil, vegetable oil or whatever, and then a little bit of acidity, either vinegar uh, or citrus vinegar, such as a lemon or lime or something like that. Um, Basically, to chemically cook the egg uh, so that you don't get in trouble. You don't get sick from eating like a raw egg. It's like, no, it's like chemically cooked. And then it's whipped up, and then you can make it at home in a restaurant. They make a lot of them for salad dressings and everything. And the mayonnaise is basically, sometimes people consider it the sixth um, mother sauce in French cooking. There are five basic mother sauces. I kind of reference those a bit. And mayonnaise is sometimes considered to be a sixth mother sauce. I don't know, but it's a salad dressing basically. It's a dressing. Now there's a specific ratio. I don't know what it is, where the ratio of oil to egg has to be prevalent for it to be considered a mayonnaise, versus um, a product like that we would get in the store that's a salad dressing or a sandwich spread or something like that, where the ratio can be a little bit different and legally. It's kind of like cheese. There's a difference between buying cheese and then your cheese food, uh, whatever your cheese food product, which cannot call itself actual cheese because there's so many other processing steps that go into that. So yeah, uh, and that's a real thing, and likewise it is with mayonnaise. So it's really good to become well versed in those kind of things. But yeah, mayonnaise is a really good rub for chicken, for boneless, skinless chicken breasts. You can do that, and then you can pound them out in a small little medallions, or you can cut them into strips or whatever, and you can saute your chicken in mayonnaise. And this is what I learned to do in the 1990s. And then uh, it's good for good caramelization and really renders a really good flavor. And then what I would do back in those days is I would take like just a jar that I would get of store bought Primavera sauce, and I would pour over the chicken, let it simmer and warm, and in a few minutes I could put it over an angel hair pasta or something like that, and it's and just impress people. And it's like, oh, okay, well, basically, I'm just yeah, whatever. And people found that enjoyable and pleasing. It was light fare, and of course these days I do a lot less of the starches. I do some pasta dishes, but a lot less frequently. Tonight, as a matter of fact, I'm going to do just baked crinkle cut French fries. No recipe involved in that at all. But let's go back to the kitchen. And see here, after I have given this chicken its first turn, and I probably won't have to do too much of this. We want to let this slow simmer. There's a nice caramelization that's happening um, with this product. And you can use any spicy mayonnaise that you can get your hands on. And like I said, if not, use the mayonnaise that you would normally use and then add seasonings to it. Little onion, little garlic, little black pepper or white pepper, something like that. You really won't need to add salt to it. If you're adding a spicy seasoning salt blend, you can. It'll increase your sodium, but yeah, what I use. Let me show you the product. You will see there's not much to it. This is just what I had. You can use any brand. This was from the Family Dollar up the street that I hate to go to, but every once in a while I go there because it's the only store in the neighborhood uh, that I can walk to and be back in about 10 minutes time. It's that convenient, but literally I hate it. But this is a decent product. So let's see what's inside. The first few ingredients are going to be the mayonnaise, and then we get to the things that make it a spicy mayonnaise. Okay, so water, canola, distilled vinegar, a little bit of sugar. All that goes into the mayonnaise. You know, the modified cornstarch. I don't know why they would put that in this blend, but cayenne pepper, salt, uh, and then all that's. I guess that's all into the oil that they blend, and then they add it to the whole egg and the egg yolks, which is why all that stuff would be added before the egg. But what happens is with the mayonnaise, you whip the eggs so that it's really really thick, and then you drizzle all that in. And then they list this by proportion. You know, the order in which these things are listed on the ingredients are by at the amount. So there's literally more sugar in here and more cornstarch than there are whole eggs or egg yolks. Okay, but then the lemon juice concentrate and the distilled vinegar are what's used to chemically cook the eggs. And then so I'm imagining the first list of ingredients is probably from a product, an oil product that's made separately and then added to the yolks. But anyway, then your spices, that's your, what they're not telling you, your spices. That's probably cayenne pepper, a little bit of onion, a little bit of pepper, or anything like that. There's a spice to this, a heat to it. Garlic powder, okay? Uh, and then yay. So, and paprika extract for color. And that's so that they don't have to add too much cayenne pepper to give it the color. But yeah, this is a good product for this treatment. If you didn't have this, you could use regular, plain, old, regular mayonnaise, Blue Plate, Hellman's, any of them would work. And then what you would do, I would avoid Miracle Whip. if you could do that. Miracle Whip for me has too much sugar in it. I tend to not care for it. But anyway, look at this good color that's happening. So we're kind of getting a sort of a really, this is a good way of getting a good flavor of a fried chicken without having that heavy crust or a breading on it or anything like that. We're still going to get some of those great flavors. Now you could do this with the boneless, skinless chicken breast, cut it into strips or beat it out into medallions, and you can serve it with any sort of vegetable sauce like a primavera, or you could lie it on top of, you know, pasta and red sauce or white sauce or something like that. In this case, though, because we're bone-in chicken drumsticks, I'm just going to serve it with some crinkle cut French fries that you can buy in the store. Oh, and I'm going to take you. I've got some that are prepared already. One of the things that I like to do, because I really just want like a to repurpose things. I get these sodas, and I'll cut the lid off the box, and then make a little boat. Now, so while those are looking lovely, these drumsticks separated a little bit. That's okay too. But the difference is the pan was not as hot as it was when I added that batch. That's the second batch. And so basically, I encountered some sticking. If you want to avoid sticking, get your pan very hot, then add your chicken, and then reduce as needed. But when the meat starts to pull back from the bone and separate a little bit, that's when you know that it's done. Some people might consider that it's overdone or something like that. A lot of people probably wouldn't want to take a drumstick and cook it in this fashion. They would choose to use chicken thigh because it presents better, or a chicken breast, even on the bone, presents a little better than a chicken leg. I'm not too concerned about that. It's just going to be me, and I do love the flavor. Chicken wings also would do well presented like this too. Take some chicken wings, marinate them in your favorite mayonnaise. I like that spicy mayonnaise when I'm going to do in the skillet like I'm doing in the pot like that. I just love the flavor of it, and it's just enough zip, just enough spiciness to that tang to it. It's perfect, you know. And so when this is done, I'll do a small tasting video, even though I probably won't eat my main dinner, my bigger dinner, for a few more hours. I will do a tasting video just to get me through, a small portion. So hang tight for that. Okay, so now what I want to do while I'm waiting for that meal to finish is I want to talk a little bit about some other uses of mayonnaise. This video for the Impetuous Chef is really going to be all about mayonnaise. And if you were going to do your biscuit, now your biscuit recipe is you can use either you can use all-purpose flour, and you can add your leavening to it that will help it rise, or you can do a non-leavened biscuit where you take all-purpose flour and you roll out pastry dough style, where you take layers of butter and then the dough, and you keep folding it over and over and over. You create many, many flaky layers the way you did a pastry dough, and then you would lightly cut it out after it's, quite thick, and put it on a skillet, and that'll give you flaky biscuits. Or you can do something called we can take a leavened dough and a self-rising flour. Same ratio of flour though. Self-rising flour, one portion, say we'll use a measurement of a cup. 1 cup of that flour, of the self-rising flour, to 1/2 cup of moisture, usually milk, You can use sour cream or something if you want to. You can use buttermilk. You want to make buttermilk biscuits, anything. But just 1/2 a cup of that ratio, and then 1/4 cup of the ratio for that recipe for the biscuit is, some sort of fat, butter, vegetable oil, or something. So in the case of the recipe that I'm going to talk about and using the mayonnaise, what we'll do is you would use for this biscuit, and I suppose it could work for either, uh, but what you want to do is you want to take out, and it's really for that flaky, you know, biscuit that I talked about, the first one where it's basically just pastry dough. Uh, you really can't. This really probably won't work because you need that hard butter. But with these, the using the self-rising flour, what you want to do is you want to replace your oil with mayonnaise, and you get a perfectly risen, flaky, delicious biscuit every time. And what you would do is you would mix that up, and then you let it rest. You don't overmix it, but you let it rest on the counter for about 15 minutes, and then pop your biscuits into the oven and cook them until they're done. Whatever heat, however your oven works for baking a biscuit. Uh, so yay. What else can we do with mayonnaise? Well, mayonnaise is great. We love to use it for dips. Take your sour cream. There's a simple dip that everybody knows now, by the way. It's your basic onion soup mix and your sour cream. Well, you can take that container of sour cream, mix in half and half with mayonnaise, use that onion soup mix, chop up a little bit of water chestnut, and maybe a couple of uh, you know teaspoons or something of some diced carrots or minced up carrot or something like that. A little bit of just whatever, and you can just have fun with it and have like a nice crunchy savory dip for your vegetables. You don't have to just rely on that old sour cream or that ranch dip. You can have a little fun with it, for your party favors and your charcuteries and everything. So mayonnaise is wonderful for creating dips. It's wonderful for a lot of things. So let's explore moving forward some uses for mayonnaise. I want to know, what are some of your uses for mayonnaise, culinary style? If you took just a drop of mayonnaise and you ran it through your hair as in place of your moisturizing conditioner, because it is egg and it is oil. So if you're in the shower and your hair is wet from a hot shower, then go ahead and put a dime size amount, and put it through your hands and pull it through your hair, and then let it sit the same way you would do a hot oil treatment for about 12 minutes on your hair. Let it really get in there and do the work that it does as a conditioner, and then you can give it a rinse and a light, just one light lathering, and pull that out of your hair, and your hair is going to be so conditioned. Mayonnaise. Now, this is the word of a former cosmetologist. That is true. A lot of those old treatments, they hold true. A good avocado mask cannot be beaten. You get some strawberries and you crunch them up. You can use that as an exfoliating scrub, because of the texture of the seeds on the outside of the strawberry, and everything works really, really well for scrubbing your face. So that's not, it's not culinary. There's a lot to be said for a good oatmeal mask. Uh, those oatmeal products, Aveeno is a really good one. I need to get some more of those, by the way, because they're really good for just having in the bath. They're really good for the skin. Okay, it's about time for me to go check on this chicken again.